whatever milestones that Black people make against hate, it ends up benefiting all the other people of color. I can't see what his end game is. The Republican Party is the party of racism, is the party of white supremacy, is the party of hate. This is wrong, and it needs to stop.
Everybody wants to go back and drag that piece of history up, but they don't want to go back and deal with what their ancestors did to the indigenous people and to Black people in this country. You got to go. And you got billionaires talking about going to space and Jeff Bezos. Go! Never come back. I hope you get lost. This man has lost his mind.
Boom! Come on, girlfriend. What is up, everybody? It's Dr. Vibe here, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe Show, the home of Epic Conversations, and I'm the host of Epic Conversations, 2020 Best Podcast News Award winner, 2018 Innovation Award winner given out by the Canadian Ethnic Media Association, and I host the only co-host. I got to keep on, I'm not that domineering type. I'm the co-host and co-producer of the only online show in the world for dads and fathers that is sponsored by Dove Men Plus Care. As always, like to say you're blessed, highly favored, a magnet for miracles, and a solution for someone's problem. We're broadcasting on the last Sunday in August, family. Wow. Like summer done. Summer done, family. Summer done. But you know what? You know what isn't done? State of things with Aisha and Jill. Now, just want to warn you ahead of time. Aisha is not with us tonight. She's taking her daughter back to school. But you know what? What's the old song? Must let the show go on. Must let the show go on. And you see Jill singing in the background. So Jill and Lala are in
Freddie Mercury.
House. Show must go on.
But hold on now. There was another song, Must Let the Show Go On. It's older than the Freddie Mercury
like vaudeville
song.
or something. Yeah.
No, masquerade. I'm just blind, so blind. I'm gonna find it. You see, you got me thinking about that song because there's an earlier Must Let the Show Go On, but whatever. How you ladies doing?
Great.
How's
the music? Everything that's recycled anyway.
Yeah, like originality. Poof.
Yeah, what's that?
Yes. Never heard of it. What's that?
Really and truly. And already in the house, good evening, Cinema Canal. You're on time tonight. Oh, here we go.
Wow.
Greetings all. Dr. Vibe, is that a band head on your bald head? Are you okay? Okay. Full disclosure, I had to make sure I didn't know they were available skin tone Band-Aids.
Really?
Yes. Yeah. So if you want to see, since a lot, I'm going to go the other way. Which way? This way? No, the other way.
I can't even tell.
It's right.
Oh, yes. Very nice. I see it. But
so I had a little shaving head accident. So I went out and saw that there were skin tone Band-Aids. I said, wow, diversity and equity inclusion in full effect. And they weren't made by the way, they weren't made by the Band-Aid people, nope. Johnson & Johnson, by the way. So.
Oh, really?
Okay. And you know what? Tila, yes, we talked about it. Music trivia show one Sunday. Yes.
Good. That would be fun.
Well, Aisha's not here, but the three ladies, they know their chops when it comes to music. They know their chops. That would be great. So Tila, give me some more ideas either in the chat tonight. You already have my email address. Oh, just want to make sure. Are we on the big screen or what? Are we on the big screen? Just want to know. But I want to say welcome to everyone. Thanks for always catching us live or on the replay. It's appreciated, not taken for granted. Again, it's State of Things, Aisha and Jill. No Aisha. Lala's here. Jill's here. Black Beauty's in the house. Glad to be here with everyone. What's going on? And you know something too, family who's watching live. We're going to do a little bit of something different too. If you have any topics that you want us to chat about in real time, throw them our way. And that goes at any time. Like we pick topics, but we don't cover everything. And there may be things you want us to get our takes on. Right. Put them out there. Put them out there. So that's what we're doing. So let's talk about the first major topic that we thought about this week. Releases redacted affidavit used for warrant on 45.
Wow.
DOJ
Yeah.
is not playing.
Yeah.
I love how they're showing their hand. I love how they're like, okay, let's double down. I mean, I know that it was heavily redacted, but it had to be because there's a lot of people that they needed to protect. But the fact of the matter is they're showing their hand. They're showing that they're justified in doing everything that they're doing. And let's face it, a lot of people have already served time for doing less than what this idiot has done. And then with him saying stupid things like, well, I waved my hand over top of the boxes and now they're not top secret.
he said that.
Oh, he pretty much, he said that. I unclassified them.
Yeah.
With who?
Hold on. He unclassified them?
That's what he said he had the power to. But when you have nuclear documents, there's a process of declassification for that. And he didn't really meet those requirements. I think that his biggest, the biggest concern for me is that he's, of course, he always pushes back and they're trying to, his attorneys are asking for a special counsel.
Yes, I saw that.
They just stall. And what really worries me is that there is a judge that was a Trump appointed judge, a woman. And we know what suckers Trump women are. They suck up all the dust from the floor that he drops.
Yeah.
And so basically it worries me that that judge might do something to fix something. If anything, it'll cause a bunch of nonsense to happen. And then somebody else higher is going to have to intercede. And ultimately, he's still going to be found guilty of doing something. But the problem is, will he be indicted? Because we know that Merrick Garland is a traditionalist. And this is a big deal to do this with any president. And if he has the cojones to do it, I don't know. But it all really depends on those redacted items, because I think that is what would tell us if that's even a lot more possible. Like if he was making the move to sell the information. And as Lala said, so many people have gone to jail for less. But many people say, but the president has different laws that he could say reasons or rationale. And that may be the case, but he still has committed treason.
They've been after him since May of last year to return these documents. I'm sorry. He knew he wasn't supposed to take them in the first place.
Yeah.
And the audacity of him, but that's the whole thing. He thinks that he is God and that no matter what he does, he can get away with it because history has shown he has been able to get away with it. And even now they're even talking about how Truth Social, even that's his stomping ground. That's his, is even in trouble and facing bankruptcy themselves. You think he's had several bankruptcies already. So are you surprised that even his social media is going through the same problem? This man needs to be stopped. And the fact that they're letting a lot of things drag on so long is quite scary because they said they had papers mixed in with each stuff that just didn't make sense. You don't know who's been through that house and what has he already given away.
Right.
Y'all can redact all you want to. Let's face it. That man is giving all sorts of secrets away and he sees it as more power because that's what he wants. He wants all the power.
I mean, and the good thing is that we do know that now, before when we were dealing with the impeachment and whatnot, there was only one side operating. Now we kind of know there are people who are working, who have worked with him, who are standing next to him, and they are ratting on him because they know they will not have the same exemption that he will meet. And, it's like the craziest thing I heard this weekend on like Alex Witt's show, some woman on, I think MSN, she had Ted Lieu, the California House Congressman on, and he made a really wild comment, which was the amount of deaths were so astronomical during his administration for our intelligence people. Yeah. We've never had as many intelligence officers, men and women, killed with him in office. They were slaughtered. And I think my gut tells me, and we know that that's because he was giving away all of our secrets and he was ratting everybody out. He's a rat and they need to Fredo him.
So we have here Black Beauty saying, just when I think the nefarious 45 is going to be arrested, it goes on and on and on.
It does, sadly.
Makes you sick.
So is he just waiting to this to fade away?
I don't think he even thinks about that. I think in his twisted little sick mind, he just likes the attention. So he doesn't really care about consequences as long as he can get out there and say things like, they're after me, this is a witch hunt, me, send more money, which we all know that's exactly what he does.
Right.
I don't even think he thinks that far. I literally don't think the man thinks 5 minutes beyond what he has said are done. He doesn't.
But he is a sociopath. And what's really frightening, and why I say they need to be afraid of him, because the saddest part is that he's always been a dangerous human being. Mm-hmm. And, you know, for a very long time, I think that man has, you know, he didn't approach the really hard things in our being a president, the dark things, like a novice. It came quite easily to him. Mm-hmm. And he already knew going in what he would have access to. And so his mind is completely diabolical on to attain that position. It was never for the goodness or the good of people in this country. He only thought, like, how can I manipulate those poor white people who, you know, have like one tooth coming out of their ear? You know, how can I take care of them and pretend? Tooth. But that's what he does. Like, he doesn't care about anybody. It's about who he can exploit to get ahead. This is a person who really, like, just doesn't have a friend to save his life. Nobody is his friend. He doesn't have a friend. This is like the equivalent of Damien. Like, somebody should have, like, you know, rolled mama down the train or something, like when she was pregnant, because this is a person who has either been inhabited by something completely evil or just naturally occurred from the dirt and filth on the ground, naturally occurring catastrophe of a person. Mm-hmm. That's what he is. It's really sad. They size people up immediately and just want to have dirt on them. All of this, the documents, you know, they were really specific about going into the Pine Room, into different rooms. They knew. So there is somebody there who, thank God, they haven't redacted, because I really do believe that something would sadly happen to them. I mean, look what they did. They sold out Khashoggi, because they say that Khashoggi actually knew that Trump was trying to bypass Congress in selling arms to Saudi directly and pocket the money for himself. And
it's all about that. Everything.
That's what it's all about.
All about money and power. And that is very dangerous. And we've seen this in history before. This is what blows my mind. We've been down this path with someone like this, but still yet y'all are falling for it again.
People are stupid. And actually, you're right. We've seen it before, that after a point, it becomes sport for bored, rich, old white men. Because I would use other nationalities in this, but Black men haven't had a long enough history with power like this for me to ever equate what darkness is really going on in the sphere of things. But really bored, rich people are just like this. They just like to. And what's really crazy, it's like after the planet, after everything, now they're trying to find the moon. All of it is about them. Billionaires do not care about me, you, or anybody else beneath. And the war that's really going on is the war between the billionaires about who's going to end up with the most money.
Yeah, exactly.
Wherever they may end up being in space. I don't know. But that's what it's all about.
All right. So getting back to the original topic, Black Beauty saying, I'm also lost for words over the allegation that the documents were transported via U-Haul.
God,
like, can it get any worse? Like, for real, like, I mean, really, can, like, every time you think that you're going to hear the worst of it, you know, then you hear some crazy stuff like that. It's just asinine.
Black Beauty
kind of like, yeah.
No, it says, yes, allegedly 45 used a U-Haul truck to transport those documents from the White House to Mar-a-Lago, Florida. That alone is worse than criminal.
I know. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me, you know, and don't forget, he stole like the Lincoln bust. He stole a lot of things. This is a guy who probably stole stuff to get people to copy it so he could sell the authentic pieces on the black market.
Right.
That's who he is.
Right.
No, really, they need to check everything that came back to make sure it's the real stuff, because this dude is that dude. He is the dude that will have a painting and you're like, wow, this is the authentic one. And he'll sell you a fraudulent painting. He's a fraud. He can't help it. And you know what's really crazy is he enjoys this.
He loves it. He eats it up. This is what keeps him going. I don't believe
it does.
Sleeps. Honestly, I don't believe the man sleeps.
Evil doesn't.
You see what people are saying about him every second of the day, but he has proven that in the fact that when he was in the White House, all the tweets, 24 hours a day, ridiculousness, never slept. Man never slept. I think he gets off on seeing his name in the news.
Or maybe maybe some angel came to him and said, if you ever sleep, but that's when we're going to take you.
Yeah.
So he has to stay up. Maybe he just never sleeps. That'll run your eyes crazy.
Oh boy, it's already started a front and frolic. Regina asks, how do they know 45 hasn't got copies of all the confidential documents?
He does.
Yeah, they don't know. They don't know. That's what I heard, that they were like, they really don't know.
They're going to get him on this eventually, but like I said, the damage has been done. He's given he's given the info to the people who he wanted to give it to. Period.
Yeah, and that's the crazy thing. They said that in the world of the spy world, nobody's going to roll up from France and go, hey, by the way, you know, I already know that what toilet paper you're using, and it's not the very best. So whatever they're going to say, like they said, you know, it's all little games, but Macron is like tight-lipped after he found out that they had on him.
Yeah.
You know, just that coming out alone was kind of like, okay, we had an issue when we were like bugging like Merkel's phone at one point or her computer. So would they all do it? But nobody's going to volunteer because you keep your cards close to your vest.
That's right.
Okay. So Black Beauty is laughing away at Jill's comments, and then Tila asks you, Jill, are you sure he doesn't sleep in a coffin?
You know, for real. I don't know. I ain't slept with him, so. No. Thank God.
Okay.
Oh, I love it.
Tila says he's basically an orange Dracula.
No, it's like he's got tang all over him, and those blue.
Gosh. Tang.
So strange. Tang. He looks like a glass of Tang.
Tang. Oh, Lord.
And I used to love Tang, but, you know, and then those.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, and Tila's laughing, LOL. Oh, my goodness. That is hilarious. So where does this eventually end up? Like, there's so many different parts of this. Is 45 going to rerun?
No, I don't think he's going to. I think he just keeps doing this to get more money. He's going to get it. He's going to run it. He's going to run this as long as he can run this. You got a penny? Okay, give me your penny. Because that's just where he is.
So what in the communities that you travel in, face-to-face or digital, are people talking about this at all?
I have one friend. And the reason she's my friend is because we do talk freely. She is a Trumpster. And I don't know how we're friends.
Wow.
But we end up talking about things that make sense. Now, we will say to each other very clearly, I don't understand how you do that, girl. And she'll say vice versa. Or I'll say, now, wait a minute, hold up.
Right.
Let's talk about this. And she'll go, didn't think about that. So we have conversations. But what I have noticed, we ain't had no conversations about this.
Really?
Well, so this leads me to another point, because I'm not hearing too many Republicans talk since the retractions have been released.
Nothing.
Well, they keep wanting to bring up Hunter Biden and all this other stuff.
He's
and
back on Hillary.
Yeah,
well,
I mean,
and I found that interesting because Hunter Biden was trending this morning.
Yeah, that's Twitter. What they always do.
On
but
Sundays.
if they really want to go there, they better stop it. It's like, because there's some other stuff about that man that slowly will start coming out that's going to shock the out of all of them.
Yeah.
Because it's just getting to be that time, you know, because he is of no use. There are nails for that coffin, by the way. And when it looks like he's been cooked, and they will seal it up and shut him down like that and make his fans turn on him in a second. Because even in New York, there were just some things, and you know them. And these old hillbillies don't know. And they really don't. But there are things, and there's actual proof of it, that would shock out of most of them.
Well, what's interesting is, you know, I had to go to a not so fun place this week doing some real estate research, and it involved a mobile home complex. And I couldn't get out of there fast enough.
Yeah.
The flags that were flying, the support for this man for people who really don't have much, is quite scary. But as long as he's got those people that are supporting him and giving them money, he's going to continue to thrive.
It's so sad. I mean, in essence, most of them are collecting a government paycheck anyway, and it's only still just indirectly taking money from the government.
Right.
I mean, I'm surprised they don't just go and drop off food stamps at Mar-a-Lago, because they would do it. That's how their brains are completely methed out, fentanyled out. You know, that's them. And it's so interesting that you go, that's your army. That's your army. Like Josh Hawley made a comment today, like, if you arrest Trump, all is going to break loose. And I'm really here to say, I don't think so. I don't really think so, because it ain't, no, they would be hard pressed in an isolated incident, but in how many states? How many? Really? People got to do. And that's quite a presumptuous statement to make, that anybody would fight for anybody at this point. Let's just be straight up. It is not going to be that people are going to jump out, maybe Texas, maybe Florida, but not even in like their more like states that are like Austin, or maybe in the backwoods. But this is like, they really like, I challenge Hawley. Let's see you out there first.
Yeah.
Because the reality is, I just don't believe that you're going to get the result that you want. So yeah, Garland and DOJ arrest his. Let's just see. I'm not about somebody selling me wolf tickets, because I'm going to cash them in to buy what you're selling. So let's do it.
Yep. I'm just waiting. Every morning I do check to see if it's happened, because you never know at this point, like when they're going to come in and do it. It's going to get done. I think we will see it.
Yeah.
But it will be shade, but we will see how many people will still be loyal, because let's face it, even the people who did the January 6th, and they just were so very, very sure that Trump was going to pardon them. And, you know, and then when that didn't happen, they were like, well, wait a minute, you know, like, and now they're starting to serve this time for what they did at our Capitol.
And they should serve it.
It should be a sanctuary. It shouldn't be any type of that mess going on. But now they're serving their time, and they're seeing the people that they thought that they were fighting for don't care for them.
Right. I mean, and to think about our intelligence people who have been killed, and also plots and everything that have been set back, they will be able to tell. And I really firmly believe that that's why there was an urgency to get those documents, because Trump was stalling all the way through the years because he had some business that he was doing.
Yep.
And it was in the works and he couldn't give them everything.
Yep.
So, I mean, let's just, be for real. That's what he was doing. Stalling. That's what he does. And the stupid bankruptcy court in New York has allowed, and they created this monster too. I mean, these bankruptcies are ridiculous. They're a joke. Like the man walked out with more money than he put down into a building than he actually, you understand that? He walked out with more money filing a bankruptcy than he ever put in the investment from the get-go. Right. And that's what a lot of these real estate developers do. And America, wise and stop that. That's the reason that these Congress people and the state people, why they don't want to really push for that. They know they don't want to do it because you know why? Because they're in on that take too. That is the biggest scam is real estate development in America is the scam. You mentioned something really wild about the Queen being the English being the royalty being the biggest landowners in the world. Well, there's the deal. Hello, it's called we can scam your as much as we want because we manipulate the laws around this property and this.
That's right.
So I'm sorry if they want to really come clean and be really straight up, get rid of that. Let's close those loopholes that people use to buy all these houses or cash out of projects and do a couple of affordable housing things in there so they get a tax abatement for 10 years. And then sadly, the people who are living in the building after 10 years all of a sudden see their shoot the and you can't sell it or you can't live in it because it is no different than the leasehold properties and the freehold ones in the UK. It's just done a very different way. When those left the UK to come here to get away from the king and queen, they didn't do but make it worse.
That's right. They came to get what they couldn't get.
Yes, they couldn't get over there. Exactly. Thank you.
And take it away from those that it rightfully belonged to.
That's exactly what they did.
You're talking about land. Here's another thing that I came across this week. Blew my mind. Wasn't even ready for it. Is I went out to look at some property and there is a whole complex of new builds. Big builder, big name builder. And I was like, oh, they're building new houses over there. Then I started seeing the flags. Lease your brand new home. I told y'all weeks ago when CNN and stuff started coming out talking about the new American dream is to lease. Right. They are warming you up for where they want you to be.
Yeah, they are.
There's a brand new community that's only so leased, not for sale.
It's so true. And that has been a long game plan here. Yep. And they're all getting their little write-offs, their tax write-offs for doing it. And you will get nothing. They will make it where you can't live in these places. Where are people going to live? Mm-hmm. They've got to start minding the store. And some of this stuff is illegal. The saddest part is, I just don't think Americans can give up their corruption.
No.
They're so used to it. Everybody pretty much has some that they run just to survive here.
Yeah.
Because it's not a kind country.
That's right.
I mean, what Biden did with the school stuff, it's fine, but it should have never gotten that way. And then I'm hearing old boomers my age who are upset, like, I had to pull myself up by the bootstrap. School was $400 a year.
Right.
And even then, even with the inflation, it's gone up 395% in 20 years.
Mm-hmm. So let's hold right there. We're going to get to the school loans. So let's catch up on some comments here. Black Beauty saying, I 100% agree that all these 45ers seem to care about us lining 45's pockets, although he's paid the piper for their cause. Black Beauty saying, preach, Joe, preach. Joe's telling it like it is. Tila saying, I hope it's all worth it. I mean, what are they getting for supporting him? A pair of pillows, a gold-plated commemorative coin with his likeness, and Ginzu knives.
Oh my God, Ginzu knives!
Well, what they get out of it is a more psychological to their depravity. You see, these are depraved people. They are lost causes. I talk about them all the time, that you write them off. They are the barnacle on your, they are the barnacles on the underbelly of a ship that's been sitting there for hundreds and hundreds of years, and it just rose up. They are the dead, the walking dead that have been resurrected in the name of Donald Trump, because that's all they are. And you can see them a mile away. And I'm sorry, what do you do when you see a zombie? I mean, you got to hit them hard and knock them down, and you cannot give them any room, because they think this is their way to get ahead. It's like running in a Formula One race track.
This is a comment for Lala. Lala, thanks for bringing up the lease ripoff. Do you think this is the beginning of the end of passing on generational wealth?
Yes, I do. And I've been speaking out about it, but sometimes I feel like the lone wolf in the desert. I've been talking about this for years. The way of America is to slowly introduce things till you're comfortable with them. And then by the time you realize you've been ripped off about it, you've been so complacent with it that you don't know how it happened. It starts with the small news, and then it gets into your mind, it gets into your heart, and then they start telling you what you can't do. So you start figuring out that you can't do it because you're angry about it. Then you don't want to do it. You have no leadership. But we all know when you own a piece of land, I don't care if it's a condo, you can catapult that into something major for you and your family. And as long as they're telling you to rent, as long as they're telling you that you need to be quiet and lull and just be okay, and you don't have any responsibilities when you're leasing, then we're going to see more and more families not being able to build their wealth. We need more and more of our Black community to speak up. This is why I have free classes. This is why I do everything that I can to help people get started, because you need to think about your babies. You need to think about you, about what's going to happen to you when Social Security goes away. So yes, I have a lot to say on that, and I won't go down quietly. You build your wealth.
Okay, and Tila says, very sad.
It is, because don't forget that, people who are renting, like let's say you have relatives or things that fall apart in their lives, they can't come and live with you because you don't own your property.
Nope.
You can't help anybody. And in a really weird way, if I'm not one to believe in conspiracy theories, but if there is any truth in the Agenda 22 or 24 or whatever it is, this will be one good way to get rid of people that they don't feel contribute anything to society.
Right. That's right. Let's face it, if we really wanted to do something about the homeless, we would get it done. I don't care if it's even the little mini things that they're building.
I agree.
With 200, 300 square feet for the homeless. That's all they need anyway, is small little space for them to be able to have.
Because they don't want anything bigger, because they can barely function being in anything confined at this point. Some of them. Sad.
That's right. If we really wanted it done, it would be done. And I'm tired of hearing about these wonderful ways that we can do it where no one is actually stepping up or being stopped. You see, someone may have the means. There are several people down in San Pedro, California, who want to buy old ships and convert them for housing.
The containers. Yes.
And the bureaucracy stepped in and said, oh, no, you can't do that.
Exactly. And those are the same liberals that vote Democrat too. Some of them aren't even that helpful, because they're all like, oh no, I'm not going to have all them moving in my neighborhood.
That's exactly what's
that, and they pride themselves on, but the progressive and all of that. We have so many things that we have to confront about ourselves during this transition of Capricorn into Aquarius. I keep going into that. And the reason that I do is because Capricorn is about our institutions and Aquarius is about opening the mind. But there is something to be said for, we need to maintain some structure and some honesty here, because we're not really being it. We'll talk about something later, because I know I was about to veer off. I'll wait till that topic comes up.
Okay.
Well, I mean, just down there with like the ship situation, even during COVID, when there were several different hotels that had gone out of business, they were talking about allowing the homeless to go there so that they could be safe from the virus. And that never even got off the ground. They'd rather have them in the street.
Right.
So, I mean, you can't choose and want at the same time. You can't say you want something if you're not going to support it.
True.
Okay, let's move on to our next conversation topic. I think there's one more comment here by Tila saying that convert all these old shipping containers. I've seen beautiful homes built from them. We have tons sitting here in the ports not occupied. So
But
obviously,
the problem is that everything in America has to be a profit sector.
Yes.
Like literally your kids, the school, the hospital, the this, the that. Everything has to be a profit center. And that's what's actually driving things. And that, my friends, is kind of like, who says that you really need to like have a profit one year? What? Why?
Right.
Who said it had to always keep going bigger and bigger?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's a construct. That's not even real.
Mm-hmm.
That isn't real, because if you change the model just a little bit, you'll be,
that's capitalism.
Yeah, but that's why it doesn't work. That's why it doesn't work. And it's pretty horrible.
We will certainly come back. I think, especially with Lala, your expertise when it comes to housing, I think we need to have a definite deep conversation on that. I think that's bring your evaluated experience and your expertise on, because it's a growing crisis. It's a crisis in America. It's not a growing. It is a crisis. And no one's, I don't see anyone at the government levels talking about it.
No.
From either party.
And what they used to do is to give access to houses, low affordable houses like in New York, to the churches. And then the churches would hold their you had to be affiliated in such a weird, like the local church, the Catholic Church or the Episcopal Church, just so they would let you know these are going to be at a lower income rate. You can like go and bid on them. But they do that. And then the bureaucracy is just disgusting.
All right, let's move forward. Just a few more comments. Bobby says no profit in for them. And then, yes, homeless in the U.S., another good show topic. Yes, Lala. Agreed. So we are that is noted. Next conversation topic. Biden administration has approved $32 billion.
Don't you love the meltdown? Don't you love the meltdown for all the crazy people, all the GOPs freaking out, especially the ones who owe for PPP and ain't paying those back?
Right. Mm-hmm.
I mean, they are having a meltdown. What does it matter to you? You've gotten your wealth. You've gotten your corporate greed. You've done everything you need to. Why not help the people that need this help? You're up there to help the people, but you're not doing it.
Which makes you even question Marjorie Taylor Greene. We would have heard less of her had she not gotten 190 million.
180,000.
Yeah, 180,000 for her PPP money. This toad hasn't seen money like that ever. I mean, she's a real bullfrog. Let's just be honest.
But I think that the Biden White House, great counter move. Counter move. But the only thing is, I just want to be fair. I'm sure there's some Democrats that have received.
Oh,
for sure.
I'm all about exposing all of them. I don't care if you red or blue or green or purple.
Yeah, but I mean, let's also there is a sort of thing with the PPP that did go on. There were a lot of people who stole some money here. Regular average citizens who are on the run. They caught a few down in Florida. People who went to Brazil with these millions. I mean, millions. I don't know how people were getting through the system, but they really took advantage of it. And now they're going to spend some time, I guess, in, they'll never be able to pay it back. And many have gone to jail. But to have our Congress people saying what they're saying, they should be dragged they should never be voted back in. Just for what they just did, because it's like, do you think you are trying to tell me who works for you and your construction company? See, let's go dig into her. And that's that whole thing about the real estate. I'm telling you, you will find Marjorie Taylor Greene has already lied. She already lies on her taxes. She's a construction person. That ain't legit. There's some shady. And then there's what she took out for whatever payment. Did she keep her staff, Probably not.
No,
You
because it
know,
went in her pocket. But I
closest
love
is-
how
yeah.
she's on a
So
clock.
I would love to know what if you asked some of her constituents what they thought about her getting money for PPP, what they would say.
Oh, I think they
Same
don't
thing
care.
as Trump.
They're the same as her. Don't think too much. I really hope that Marcus Flowers beats her, and I've given to his campaign, and I really tried, but it really will be a miracle, and maybe he can turn it around. But I really don't think there's any decent people in their district. I think they're all about as interesting. I think they're all as her.
Yep. Truth. Believe it. If you didn't have a platform to stand on, it's the people that are the platform for her.
Exactly. Well, she threatened her last opponent. Remember?
Oh yes,
she threatened her. They threatened her, him or her. They threatened him, and he was a surgeon. Somebody was a surgeon, and ran away. So I think she's just of that ilk in a small town. I grew up in a small town, and there are those people that you go. We saw them on like Dallas on those TV shows, like, oh, there's old Roddy Boobot and, whatever their dumb names are, Fish Time Eddie over there.
You sounds like you pull characters out of some of these investigation Discovery episodes.
Like,
but these are real people. We don't live with them.
Yeah, they'd be like, they are real people. And so like in those small towns, like in Kentucky and Ohio, it's kind of like you go, oh, it's them, that family. Oh, and that's where the apathy kind of begins too. You start to know how things are lined up and in order. And you sometimes know if your fight is going to be one that you think you can penetrate and get through to the other side. And then in a lot of these places, like they really need to be, no joke, but all that saying that, the one place where I do think there's some shady stuff going on with the votes, it is Kentucky, because everybody that I know who is there does not vote for McConnell.
No.
I have fans who there's too many. I have friends. They don't get it.
I'm from there. So.
Yes, they don't get it. I've heard people go, we don't know how they're getting in. And they don't. They don't.
They really don't. And it's been happening every time. Every time you just know he's gonna get beat, and nope. And he's in with like so much range. It's not even. It's unbelievable.
I mean, and it's great that the student loans are going down because some people. What you'll start seeing is I did see an interesting article where I guess the copy editor had to do something to, that's always to persuade you to have action. So they're now starting to say, everybody's going to be raising rents in Oregon because of everybody. So let me get this straight. You see people who you think now have more money in their pocket. So you're going to decide to raise rents? I mean, what kind of country are we that we go, she just won the lottery. I'm going to make it where her dinner tonight is going to be $1 million. I mean, that's really how people are all right now. Yeah. They are trying to be like, oh, so these students, and you know what? You might see it in neighborhoods. They'll go, alone? Well, I'm going to raise my coffee in this neighborhood, and I'm going to raise the burger, the price of this. Because you know what? Because all that they're showing us is that American people are a bunch of haters. Haters. So I hope all those kids who get their degrees, really come along and get all up for my generation of boomers. Put us all in homes. You know what? Lay it down. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of people that enjoyed what we had as young people, right? When we were coming up, I'm older than you. But to turn into being such sour, it's like, maybe we need to just bow or let these kids just, because the reality is, how are you going to compare your life to theirs?
Right.
So it's just a bunch of haters and boomers. Boomers, if you're upset about Gen Z or Gen Y or whatever, whoever, you raised them.
Yeah, oh boy. And you put it right back in their laps. That's right.
I mean, I get annoyed with them too, but I can't say I didn't see it coming when there were certain school things happening about that I was definitely on the opposite side of, but I'm not a prize either. I'm sure I did some things that didn't contribute to the safety and harmony of what these kids are trying to build their lives on.
Mhm.
We also can't build on something from the past. This is I don't know, things are moving really fast and they're changing quickly.
So the thing is, the $10,000 is great. It's a great start, but I
Some
think
get 20.
Yeah, but I think it could have been done better in regards to based on income to debt ratio. Because let's put it this way: as you both have mentioned, or Jill, how you've mentioned, education ain't cheap,
No.
right? And how much impact does a college tuition have with a non-melanated family versus a melanated family?
Mm.
Yeah, but as
'Cause
Aisha mentioned something about this on her page, which was that that there are child credits and credits that won't be, you can't apply for now because of the way this bound. And when she comes back next week, she'll talk about it. It was a really good point too.
But still, and if you dig deeper, I've just been reading some stuff. It was Joe back in the day who had something to do with some of this crisis.
Oh yes. Oh yes. Oh, don't get it twisted. Mr. Joe
Of
has
course.
a nice little checkered past.
Right.
Yes. So he had the ability back in the day to prevent from some of this meltdown from happening.
But they weren't going to do that because after the 60s, when they saw black folks acting, all that, they were going to make sure it was going to be damn difficult for black folks to go to college. I can tell you that. That is when I think it turned into, oh my God, we don't want Kent State and we don't want all of this anymore. We don't want this. We will have a select few and cherry pick them. That's what I think. And the HBCUs.
I think it should have been deeper than $10,000. It's a great
it
start.
goes to 20,000. But here's the other thing: what it should have been is that America needs to deal with the fact that we have predator loans, and a lot of the PPP.
But some of the predator loans are called colleges and universities.
Yeah, but no, it's not that. People sell the loans. They even sell it on your mortgages now.
I know that.
Chase can sell it whenever they want to as well. It is a clause that most people don't know. If your bank wakes up one morning and you could be paying right as rain, and they just decide, let's just take them and just sell those to, that was why somebody needs to investigate to find out why so many black families were excluded from being able to get some of that PPP money and protections because they were with third-party lenders who were not secured by the FDIC.
That's right.
So that was kind of slick how that went down. It was like calculated, and it was done in a red line segmented way so that they could come in and take their properties, which they're now pursuing. They're pursuing it now.
Seeing that.
Yes, we are.
We are seeing that. We've been told to be ready. They have trained us and said, the REOs are coming. And now they have started being assigned to some of us agents.
Terrible.
We are here.
It was only a matter of time. And so they did it with the schools as well. But they did it with kids who were of color. And some of their loans are like 3 and 4 different companies deep. And that's what he needed to address, was to kill predator loans.
I need to know, why is education so expensive in America?
And still be as dumb. Yeah, I don't get it.
Really?
It's blasphemous that the fact that people pay $65,000 a year and they're stupid as all.
Well, it's the same thing. Like hubby and I, we don't go out often to eat because, for one, it's absolutely ridiculous. Mm-hmm. And we went out to eat the other day, and it was the worst food from a restaurant that was very well known, and it was $55 for just us two. And I'm not saying we were not ordering things that were major. The same thing that we ordered at that restaurant just 2 months ago when we were to Portugal, was $18.
Right.
So
I
that
just,
tells
yeah,
you just how
I
much
hear you,
The
but
quality of things is
I don't get the whole education, why it's so expensive.
no.
You know,
yeah, but
I don't, it's such, there's an old album by a group called Supertramp called Crime of the Century.
mhm. But I think
I
we
don't
saw,
get,
I love Supertramp, by the way, but I think that, what you're noticing is that, um, even with the predatory loans, they're all hooked up with the hedge funds.
Yes.
And then that begets another thing, which begets Wall Street. And really all you're going to college for and all you're paying for is just access. You're paying
Yeah.
for access. You're paying for your name and your school's name to maybe get you into a job. It's
Maybe.
access.
That's still
And
not
that's
even
the
paying
only
you
way.
more than minimum wage.
Right.
Look, my friend
Exactly.
just got that PhD. She's got a PhD in business administration. They want to pay her $22 an hour.
But
PhD.
But here's the thing. They don't really, that's the scam too.
Yeah.
I don't know if we even need people who even have all that anymore.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I don't know what the point of that is anymore.
Right.
Sitting there in school your whole life, that's not it either, because that was a shell game. And it's because you're coming out with 22 and a secretary's job is $20 an hour, the same thing. And the only worst thing is that, now it's like all these, we've just made everything rich. Like you're looking for a job and you apply on Indeed or you put it on LinkedIn, and all of it.
Yeah.
All you've done is share your data of your life.
Yeah.
And who the knows where it's all ended up?
Yeah.
You really don't know, because it's ending up places more than just let me try to get a job.
That's right.
It's going somewhere really critical about your life. And when people can't get jobs when they submit a resume, and all of a sudden you notice how many thousands of phone calls you start getting after you put a resume through online, because it could be somebody who just decided that they're going to be that company that sells data. That's how it works these days. I could legitimately start a company and put out a job thing. It isn't a job. And I get a bunch of names coming to me, and then I just sell them, or I can buy debt and then I can go after it. I told you all, it's like, this is the country. It wasn't right from the get-go.
No.
Okay. So let's Tila says another show topic idea, discussion of the Democratic Party, our huge wins, the checkered politicians. Where are we today with the party?
Mm-hmm.
Point taken.
That's true. Great.
Next conversation topic, and Jill brought this up before we went live. This is interesting. National Justice investigates rising Republican Party influence got their start at a talent agency run by an Israeli pornographer.
Yes.
What is going on with that?
So it's an article that I was looking at and studying it to go, it's a company that they're prominent guests on Fox. They lead grassroots rallies. They write columns at The Blaze. They're keynote speakers at CPAC. A few were even used to blackmail perceived enemies of Israeli interests, and they all got their start as actors and models at the same Israeli-owned talent agency. And the names that are on this list, and if you look at the pictures, that's Marjorie Taylor or Lauren Boebert or one of them. There's Candace Owens was one of them, Lauren Boebert, Tommy Lahren, Melissa Caron, Scott Pressler. He's the gay conservative influencer. They're all influencers now.
Yeah.
And then there's Melissa Caron was Rudy Giuliani's star witness in the election fraud lawsuit. Anna Kate and Tara Price, they're two women hired by private intelligence operatives to seduce and blackmail National Security Advisor McMaster and Sheldon Adelson. So, there's something to this story and who these people are. It's a raunchy central casting type of situation. Mm-hmm. But more importantly, they are somehow turning these people into some kind of operatives and weaponizing them and probably supporting their run for Congress or their bids or turning them into influencers. And you can see why the younger people default and say, yeah, they get the money and go, I don't really get one way or the other. If it was a Democrat or a Republican, and they say the most provocative and shameful things. That's why it's so not professional, because they are literally scouring for actors and models. These people wanted to be actors and models.
So what they do, get into politics where they can be in front of the camera all day long.
Exactly. And they're getting paid. So that was, when I was seeing that, and I think people need to dig in more on that, because that's true with McMaster, and then this Jewish, it was a Jewish leader who those two women, Jewish donors, Sheldon Adelson and Robert Mercer, complained to Trump that he wasn't sufficiently pro-Israel. So then those two women came around. I mean, and the Mercer family, come on, guys, it's bad. It's really bad. I mean, I think, people want to go, it's right up there with Epstein and all of that.
Oh yeah. And isn't that wonderful how all that just disappeared again? Are you kidding me? It's whatever people want to talk about when they want to talk about, because this is a big enough story that really should be in national news. But are we hearing about it? No.
And, some of these people, when they have their companies here, how is he allowed to have this company? I mean, they have had porn sites, this man and his wife, they are known for it. Yeah. So some that are shut down now, some that are still going. But it's so interesting. Would that be your first choice to go to if you were an up and coming model? Whoa. And
you're wooed. You're wooed. And let me tell you, I've seen some of the wooing in the fact that I used to work with a live streaming company. Love live streaming. So I thought, wow, I'm really going to love this. And then started seeing what goes on behind the scenes. That's where they start. They start with this, we will help you make a lot of money. And a lot of these young ladies were making $3,000, $4,000, way more than what I was making working for the company. Some of them were getting $5,000, $10,000 a month. Okay. Wow. Then the next thing is, well, we see potential in you. So now we want to see you do this. The whole time they're being groomed to where they want them to be so that they can use them in underlying situations. And I don't doubt politically. Not at all.
That is so interesting that you use the word groomed, because the other day I was watching something and realizing that, most of everything that we see online anyway is 83% of it is being coded by men. So we're not really getting rid of the patriarchy at all, when women are still only like 18 or less percent of that at this point. And the only way to change these algorithms that are completely sexist, misogynistic, all of it, is to become more involved and hopefully not become like them. Yeah. Because the patriarchy is still alive and well. And you're right, they are grooming women, and women seem to be fine with it, pandering to the lowest common denominator.
They see other people with the cars. They see other people with this luxurious life that's not even real. Let's face it, half the people you meet, I can say that I had my guard up 24/7. My husband was always on me. He was always like, baby, put your country away, put your city eyes on. Because in LA, you don't know who you are talking to.
That's true.
You may be talking to, you think someone who is influential or is rich or whatever, and you find out they rented the car for the weekend. They rented the place for the weekend to take photos and fancy photos, but they're going home and eating dog food. Okay. Yeah. So crazy. You don't know, because they live this outside life that looks so luxurious, but in the real world, they have nothing. Yeah. Nothing. But that's so important to them that they're willing to do it.
Right. It's as crazy as Donald Trump's just, as sociopaths. It is we're in this world of like, let me just, take it. I don't know. It's got to stop.
That's something I'm hearing more and more about over the last week. Quiet quitting. quiet quitting. So people, if you haven't heard about this, I'm going to put up, if all things being, an article from the New York Times, and I can read a bit of it so people get oriented about quiet quitting. So let's see if I can put it up. Yes, here we go. So we have it here. If your coworkers are quiet quitting, here's what that means. So what I'm going to do is read a little bit of the article for everybody. If I can find it on my screen now. For some reason, I can't find it. Let me just see. No, I can't find it. Where did I put it? Well, you know what? Basically, this is something I've been hearing about in the news lately, and it's trending on, of all places, TikTok, where a lot of younger workers these days are saying, you know what? I'm doing the minimal about my job. I'm just collecting a paycheck. I'm not doing any extra work. I'm just doing enough to get by. And I thought it'd be...
I know.
There's no gold watches anymore. You don't go and work for a corporation and then after 50 years get your gold watch in retirement. I don't blame them.
And you don't make yourself sick staying overnight and doing these long hours. What for? Unless there's overtime, or, it's like why? I mean, I understand it. I don't know how the corporate world is, when they're going to come down with their kibosh on it, but all eyes are on, these people. But yeah, the Gary V's and all that, you gotta market, and you gotta you have to do this and you have to do that. And it's just like, it is a lot. It creates a lot of the kids, young people do have a lot of anxiety these days. But I'm really curious what, to do half step, and they'll just get laid off.
Well, see, now this is so that and it's a very observant point you made, Jill, because now what a lot of companies are doing is they're saying they seem like companies are doing quiet firing. So basically they do it where you're not getting any pay, not getting any career advancement, not getting the opportunity to do more work, like to move up the career ladder. So it seems like companies are confronting the quiet quitting with quiet firing.
But they've been doing that for a long time anyway.
Of course.
So it's like, who do these corporations think they are? All I want is corporations to pay their taxes, not be seen as an individual, stop ripping people off and working them to death, and paying people properly. I don't care about the feelings or the core of a corporation. If one goes, another one will come. And I don't believe in bailing them out ever again. Ever. It's like nothing is, irreplaceable. Nothing. Like, let the car thing go. I don't care. Let it go. We will make do, because the way everybody treated people during the pandemic, we learned a lot. They asked a lot of people out. So sorry, let it go.
Well, and then what's the point when they know that they can go online and do or create their little digital nomad world, when they know that they can fall back on these things? I made the mistake. Oh, God help me. I made the mistake on Friday night to go down the rabbit hole of live TikTok. Okay.
Oh,
the way people were making money with this little Yeti and putting sticky stuff about, everybody, thanks for coming. Doing these little ASMRs, and people were throwing money at them like this. Why would they want to work for a corporation when they can make money doing silly things like that? And here's the thing that really tripped me out. They had disturbance. You could pay to disturb somebody's sleep because, we've got some sick people out here, toes and whatever. And the thing is, if you send me this gift, this sound goes off and it'll disturb my sleep. So why would they work for a corporation when they could do people's fetishes quietly and earn a lot of money?
That's true. And that's very true. You can walk with the money. But here's my big thing. These digital companies and all of that, they need to be regulated to pay their taxes.
Yes.
All of them. Like, straight up. And I just don't feel that there's enough regulation. That goes for Bitcoin, whatever. However, they got to figure that out. They need to do it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've got the article up here, so I'm going to read a bit. Not taking your job too seriously has a new name, quiet quitting. The phrase is generating millions of views on TikTok as some young professionals reject the idea of going above and beyond in their careers, labeling the lesser enthusiasm in a form of quitting. It isn't about getting off the company payroll. These employees say, in fact, it's the idea to stay on it, but focus your time on the things you do outside the office. The videos range from sincere ruminations on work-life balance to snarky jokes. Some set firm boundaries against overtime in favor of family. Others advocate coasting from 9 to 5, just doing enough to get by. Many want to untether their careers from their identities. Of course, every generation enters the workforce and quickly realizes that having a job isn't all fun and games. Navigating contemptible bosses and petty
That's true.
and the petty indignities that have always been inflicted on the ranks of the working stiffs has never been easy. And many people who say when they're young they don't care about climbing the corporate ladder end up changing their minds. The difference now is that this group has TikTok hashtags to emote, and these 20-somethings joined the working world during the COVID-19 pandemic with all of its dislocating efforts, including blurred boundaries between work and life. Many workers say they have the power to push back in the current strong labor market. Recent data from Gallup poll shows employee engagement is declining. Clayton Ferris, 41 years old, said that when he recently heard about the new term circulating on social media, he realized he'd already been doing it by refusing to let work worries rule over him the way they used to. He says, quote, the most interesting part about it is nothing's changed, unquote. He said in his TikTok video, quote, I still work just as hard. I still get just as much accomplished. I just don't stress and internally rip myself into shreds.
They're finally learning. They're learning from what we did because we were working our butts off and killing ourselves and having heart attacks at 50. True. These kids don't want to do that.
No.
So just continuing on here, across generations, U.S. employee engagement is falling, according to survey data from Gallup. But Gen Z and younger millennials born 1989 and after reported the lowest engagement of all during the first quarter at 31%. Jim Harter, chief scientist for Gallup's workplace and well-being research, said workers' descriptions of quiet quitting align with the large group of survey respondents that he classifies as not engaged. Those who will show up for work do the minimum required, but not much else. More than half the workers surveyed by Gallup were born after 1989. 54% fall into this category. Well, you know what I would say to all this quiet quitting? Welcome to many Black people in the workplace for hundreds of years.
Yeah, that's right.
Why? I don't understand.
Well, we've been wanting to quiet quit many of the jobs we've had for years, but we've had to hold on.
No choice, yeah. And then 2 or 3 jobs at the same time.
Right.
Yeah, but
so
you
I
still
think
can't get a job that easily here. It's just that. And I also am a little bit annoyed with everything has to have a name. Quiet quitting. Everything about this generation, everything is a label. It really bugs me. It's like, it's called being a slacker a few years back ago, and now it's quiet quitting. There were slackers. They lived in Williamsburg.
You even got a city for where they live.
Yeah, like, they were like, oh, these are just slackers. And this was when hipster. This was when hipster was like the coin phrase. And now it's, oh my God, we have all got to stand at alert for Gen Z.
Jill, you're so wrong.
I know, it's just, but it's so weird because the reason people get their hustle on, don't be fooled. You may be online doing your, but you are hustling. You are no different than, working at a strip club as far as I'm concerned. And that's not dragging anybody, but you will hustle to get that money, which means you will be manipulative. You won't be always like straight up. You will, there's something about that hustle because
I got to interrupt. Greg T-Lug goes, you're silencing us, Jill. Leave our names alone.
Right. No. It's true. I know. I'm sorry. It's so true. They would say that. I know. I can't keep up all these damn names and,
Yeah.
he, she, me. And I'm not trying to be even crazy hard about it, but it's like, y'all got it, take it from here. But, you can't penalize the rest of someone like me who can't keep up with it. I'm just like, if I'm paying you to work for me and I see you just doing the very least, your will be gone. Yeah. End of story. I'm not paying you to be just sucking up food and heat. I'll do it myself. I don't need that. I can be quite lazy on my own.
Well said. Anything you want to add, Lala, at all?
I just see that this is just the way of the world. I mean, let's face it. I mean, things were coming along this way anyway, but the pandemic truly did change a lot of people's aspects of the world. People no longer wanted to, you start changing. People start saying, oh, well, I can't live with these neighbors anymore. This goes on during the day. So people start evaluating what was important to them and they acted accordingly. So quiet quitting, whatever it is, doing your own TikTok thing, creating your own business, whatever you need to do, and taking away some of that stressfulness that you're killing yourself for no reason. I actually kind of see that as a good change.
I kind of don't, because I do feel I still will go back to there needs to be some structure. I mean, look at those two idiots from that yoga company that are going to go to jail for like 20 years for tax evasion.
Oh, true.
Because they didn't take, can you take at least a Coursera class on understanding how to run a business and what to do with your money? True. So that it doesn't look like you just freaking skating to not pay for something. I mean, after a while, they're not going to take it. Oh, I'm a Gen Z and I didn't really know. And my mom and my dad. And blah, 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 blah. It's like, it's like you have to, there's some merit on both sides. But what's really sad to me is these kids, picking their life and their family. Please tell me what family they got going on at 22. That's not what this is about. It's called, I don't want to work and I want to do the least amount possible because this doesn't interest me. What's really sad is that there's nothing interesting young people. There's no fire in the belly. And, at this point, it's like, it's quite sad. It's really quite sad to not have a work ethic of anything. It's not even to be a person about your word, not have a work ethic. You want to go home and stay home with who? Your mom? Your dad? What are you creating? Because as far as I'm concerned, social media is not social. It's, if anything, antisocial behavior. Antisocial is what I call it. Me and my husband call it the antisocial media, because it's not. It's created so many illiterates, people who lack social graces. And right now, look at the way I talk now. I would have never been like that, but it's gotten so rough and ready these days. I just had to be like, let's just call a spade these days. But I wish somebody would work for me and just do the least. If I get a sense of that, you got to go. Right. Bye.
But eventually people who think like us, Jill, are going to be fading away anyway. So
that's true. Then they'll never get done, Lala. Then they will all be sitting out there themselves on a social media platform, because that's all it is prostitution. It is a form. And what you, and if there's no limit to what you won't do, then that's disturbing, because that means you will pimp out your kids. I've seen it with the animals. People got their babies up there all the time. People got their, if your kid is the star of the show, at least put the money aside for your kid, because it ain't about you. Right. Or are you going to pimp that? That's wrong. It needs to be regulated. Same with the animals. I keep saying that. People basically are up here having babies, adopting animals, doing the very least to have a TikTok. The Chinese were smart. They knew. The Chinese. Oh, and let's not forget the data that the Chinese have on all American people.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That's true. But what was very sad, and I've said this a long time because we have seen it a long time, these phones so-called smartphones are going to be the death of us. The minute I started seeing people shoving these phones in these babies' hands at 6 months, 7 years old, 7 months to get them to be quiet and to focus, and these babies are losing their eyesight early because they're sitting there focused on a little device, blows my mind. And it's always bothered me that that's how they lull the children. Now, there was a 2-year-old, and I saw this, I don't think I saw it on Instagram, and people were like, oh, look at this, so cute. She had the phone. She knew what to do with the phone. She put that phone on the back of a bumper. She looked to make sure she was okay, and she started her dance.
Yeah.
2, 3 years old. And this is what we're telling them is okay, because everybody else is like, oh, look at the baby. No, you don't groom things like that. That's going to come back.
No, everybody's moaning about grooming, and all we've been doing is grooming really kids potentially. Because the reality is, when a kid knows a camera's on them all damn day, that's not natural.
No.
I mean, even in the Truman Show, he didn't know he was on camera. But these people are like, you can see the way a kid will look at a camera, and that's not natural. And maybe it's not natural in my world, but it's going to be really bizarre to see what it evolves into, because it really, really is going to be interesting. Right. It's not a natural place.
So Cinema Canela says no work ethic, scary for me because my life will depend on them in the very near future. Imagine a doctor just doing very minimal on a surgery.
That's what it's going to be like. They're going to kick us to the curb. I said they might have to, though.
All right.
Let's just go to YouTube and see how we're going to take out this pancreas.
Because, right, we created this, though. Yeah. Our generation wasn't really, maybe we were allowing it. Some helicopter parents, the whole thing of like competition, competitive parents, getting them in school, all of it. Yeah. And now it's like, what is all this for? And sadly, they really need to get that universal income, basic income together, because artificial intelligence is going to come and wipe out a lot of situations. And you're going to have a lot of people roaming around that won't have anything to do.
Right. And we know where that leads to.
Yeah.
We're seeing that already. Quiet quitting. We'll talk about it more as the time goes on. Ladies, as always, thank you for taking time for another epic conversation. We will we see? Are we on next weekend? It's a long weekend.
Is it?
It's Labor Day.
Labor Day.
Ooh, I don't know. We should talk in the middle of the week to see what we're going to do.
We will talk in the middle of the week about that to see if that happens. Yes. So, as always, we want to say thank you for the ladies for making their time. And it's still 100 and something degrees in Cali, it looks like.
I know. It's really got hot all of a sudden. Sometimes it gets hot in the evening.
All right. And let's just say, let's see what we got here. Tila says, yay, great show, y'all. Well, you didn't tell us if we don't know if we were on the screen or not. You didn't answer my question. I want to know if we're on the big screen. All right. So, Lala, how can people get a hold of you?
You can find me on all social media platforms that we all just bashed.
Yes.
Multi Goddess. That's where you'll find me.
All right. Excellent. Next up, Jill Jones.
Jill D. Jones on Twitter and Jill Jones Music on Instagram and Facebook, if anybody still uses it.
Okay. Next up, if you want to get a hold of me, website, the drvibeshow.com, email dr.vibe at the drvibeshow.com, YouTube and Facebook, The Dr. Vibe Show, Twitter at drvibeshow, Instagram, the drvibeshow.com. As always, we want to say thank you so much for watching us. If you want to just state the things on Sundays at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, 6 p.m. Pacific on the Dr. Vibe Show YouTube page and Facebook page. If you want to catch replays, those are different places you can catch it. Dr. Vibe Show YouTube and Facebook, Dr. Vibe Show website. And always we close off with this. Oh, someone has a comment. Tila says, I'm on the boring laptop tonight. LOL. So hilarious. No problem. We forgive you. We'll take a week off the big screen. All right. So just joking aside, live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you can make it. Sometimes you have to get small to get stronger. Block assumptions and aim bigger, aim better, aim higher, aim wider. Love, faith, and respect. Remember to give yourselves grace and don't just manage your time, manage your energy. God bless. Peace to all. Keep the faith. And we'll see you next Sunday. And if you want to catch me during the week, 9 a.m. Eastern Time, 6 a.m. Pacific on Monday and Friday mornings. I co-host The Morning Vibe with Ryan O'Neill Knight with more epic conversations and a lot of showcasing of Black Canadians that you should know about wherever you are in the world. Take care.